guys, welcome to another Thursday Facebook Live here with Jesse James Beads. I am Sara Ellis, and today we have a really cool project for you guys. I'm really excited to show you this one. You may have seen some teaser pics up on Facebook and on Instagram earlier, but if you haven't, this is going to be a really fun one to do. I also have a new setup today. I'm using an iPad instead of the phone, and I have a new tripod and everything, so the transitions in between here might be a little bit weird, so just kind of bear with me. Chris says hi. The cool thing is that now I can actually see your comments going in the right direction. I don't have to read them upside down, so that's a bonus. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to do today. We're going to make this really cool necklace, and we're using some of the Lampwork strands that are new at Jesse James Beads. And unfortunately, I normally have a strand that's all strung up and it's ready for you guys to see. I had to cut this one up and I couldn't put it back together before the video because I'm trying to save some time, and you'll see why, because this otherwise would be a really long project. So I've cut it up, so you're not going to get to see any of the beads until we actually get down on the bead mat. But we're using the polka dot Minnie Lampwork bead strand. You guys, I'm sure you saw it when Sarah was showing off the Lampwork beads. This is the one that's the black and white with the red polka dots. It looks a lot like Minnie Mouse. It's just really pretty. We're also going to use some Jesse James Beads chain. We're using the rope ball and metal chain in this hematite color. I'll show it to you a little bit, and then you'll get to see it again better without the glare here when we get down on the bead mat. But it's some really pretty, really awesome chain. It kind of has that chainmail feel to it because it's got some knots made out of jump rings, which is really awesome. And we are also using some Bead-A-Lon variety packs. These are one of my favorite things. I absolutely love these. The variety packs come in a lot of different colors, and of course you could check these out on Jesse James Beads website. We're using the hematite color that matches the chain today, but you can also get this in the silver color and the gold color. They even have it in rose gold, which is absolutely beautiful. So check these out. They're great because they've got everything in them. They've got, let's see, there's 112 pieces total, which is pretty amazing for this little tiny package here, right? You've got 73 jump rings. They're in various sizes. You've got 8 spring rings, 8 lobster clasps, and 23 tags. So again, that's a whole lot in this little bitty guy. And it comes in this cute little container. You just toss it into your work bag or throw it over to the side of your workspace and you're good to go. So these are really awesome. I'm excited that Sarah has got these on the website. They rock. EJ says, there's my friend looking good, gonna be rich and famous soon. Yeah, in my dreams, EJ, but thank you. I appreciate that very much. So I guess that's it. I usually have some like extra information for you today, but I didn't because I didn't really get to talk much with Sarah earlier. She was over at Bead-A-Lon hanging out with all my friends there. I hope you guys got a chance to check that video out because that was really cool. They had a lot of fun together. I was a little jealous that I didn't get to play with them today, but maybe one day soon. So let's move this. Like I said, the transition might be kind of weird, but give me just a second. Let's move this and get this project underway. All right. All right, give me just a second. We'll get to see if we can get this straightened up. It's kind of weird. I've got this new tripod arm. How's that look, guys? Does that look okay? Are we good? Oh, I love it so much that I can see you guys' comments going in the right direction and I don't have to like try to guess what they say upside down. Okay, so let's talk about these beads. These are amazing. I want you guys to look at these large hole beads. Are those not phenomenal? I absolutely love those. Black and white and red. I could use this in a million different ways, but for this project, I used all of them in a nice little row. Check out these guys. I think these are probably my favorites. Really love them. And we've got some bead caps. We've got some little tiny 4mm red beads. We've got some glass pearls, and we've got these black beads in a bunch of different shapes and sizes. And we're going to use these. There's more than what I have in my hand, but they're already attached to some pieces of chain. Like I said, we're trying to save a little bit of time because otherwise this is a really, really long project. So let's get to it. Oh, I was going to show you guys the chain a little bit too because it's pretty awesome. Check that out. See the spaces in between the little ball beads? It looks like chainmail work, which I'm glad is there. I'm one of those people who I am just too intimidated by chainmail to mess with it, but I love the way that it looks, and this mixed with those ball beads just looks really, really awesome. So, all right, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a strand. Here, let me get my notes because I do have measurements written out for everybody. We are using 49 strand bright bead stringing wire. And you're going to need about a 10-inch strand of this. You can also get this on the Jessie James website as well. So let's see. We're going to use a #1 crimp bead. We're going to thread that right onto the end. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to string some of these beads up because that's going to be part of the center of our design. So we're going to get our bead stringing wire ready to go. We're going to thread on our wire guardian. Okay, I'm going to take the wire, or the string wire, gosh, I'm all over the place today. The wire back through the wire guardian and then back down through that #1 crimp bead. Okay, now we're going to pull that crimp bead up here next to our wire guardian. And we are going to crimp, oh my gosh, Meredith. Hi, Meredith. Meredith says, Sarah James, Wyatt White, Kelly Shields, Taylor, and Fernando de Silva are all watching with me. Wow, no pressure or anything. Oh my gosh. Well, now watch my hands start to shake. Okay, so before we crimp, we want to make sure that that bead stringing wire is running parallel inside that crimp bead. You don't want your wires to be crossing, okay, because that's gonna destroy your wire over time. Okay, so you want to be sure that everything's going in the right direction, and we're going to use the back notch of our crimper tool. So just place that crimper bead right into, I told you my hands are shaking already. My gosh, no pressure. Just give that a little crimp. Okay, you can look from the side to see, just to be sure again that those wires are going side by side. Okay, really, really important. Now we want to flip this over to the side, and we're going to place that in the very front notch of our crimper tool and just give it a little squeeze to make a cute little compact crimp bead out of that. Okay, and at this point, if you wanted to use a crimp bead cover, you absolutely could, but I do not like the added hardware. So I'm just going to trim my tail off, and we are going to sit this to the side for just a second. Okay, this is ready to go. Now, we're going to string on a lot of these beautiful beads, but we're also going to incorporate some of this chain. So I wanted to go ahead and get the chain part ready to go as well, because obviously we don't want to string the chain on later. Okay, so here's our beads. We're going to move these to the side just so that they're out of the way. And then I've got sections of this chain. I have one section that is about 4.5 inches long. We're not going to use this in the stringing section. We're actually going to use this as our second level. Actually, it's going to be the top level of a 2-strand design. So we're going to sit this to the side. That's, again, 4.5 inches. Okay. Then I have cut strands of the chain in 2 different sizes. I've got 3 that are one. Well, it'll be helpful if you could see them. Sorry. All right. We've got one that is 3¼ inch. And one that is 3 inches. Is that right? That doesn't look like 3 inches. Okay. I got that backwards. This is the 3-inch piece. I'm so flustered. 3-inch piece and then a 1¼ inch piece. Okay. And we're going to alternate those through the design. Now you'll notice that when you take your chain apart, some of them where that ball is, it's already got a loop, which is super duper convenient. The other ones are on the end, if it doesn't have a ball, it does have all of these jump rings. You just want to be sure that you find that center jump ring, and we're going to use that to attach some of these dangles. Now remember, I told you that these black beads come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. That's what we're going to use to attach to the ends of our pieces of chain. So let me just show you. I did a lot of these ahead of time just to kind of save some time because I didn't want you guys to be here all day, okay? So again, just putting these on the ends, and I'm going to do that for you here in just a second with a head pin, but I wanted to lay these out so you could see the different sizes and shapes of the black beads that were also included in the strand, okay? So we're going to do a short strand and a long strand real quick. We're going to take this larger bead and we're going to put that on the long strand, okay? So we're going to use this 3-inch strand, and we're just going to take a head pin and we're going to thread that large bead on just like so. And now you're going to come in with your pliers. I'm going to use my chain nose pliers. I'm going to grab right above that bead just like so, okay? And I'm going to bend 90 degrees. Let me turn that to the side so you can see, okay? Now, a lot of people do this with the round nose pliers. I like to use the chain nose pliers just because I like to get a real nice sharp bend in that wire, okay? But I'm gonna let go of those for a second and bring in my my round nose pliers and grab that wire so that it is running between the barrels. I'm gonna guide that wire up and over the barrel of the pliers. Then I'm gonna adjust my grip just a little bit so that I have room to go ahead and guide that wire all the way around so that I can make a nice loop. Okay, now before I finish off wrapping that loop though, I do want to thread this on to the end of our chain. And like I said, because this ball has already got a nice loop here, it's really, really convenient. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with my pliers and I'm going to switch hands. It's just easier for me. I'm going to hold with my left hand and I'm going to take my chain nose pliers instead of my fingers. If you want to use your fingers here, you absolutely can. And I'm just going to wrap this long end of the wire around that section of wire that's coming out of the bead. I've got enough room here for about 4 wraps. Always want to double check because you don't want to push it. If you don't have room for that 4th wrap, you'll make a little bit of a mess. So definitely double check. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to trim this off. And then I just want to double check to make sure that my tail is not sticking out. And if it is, just give it a little squeeze with your pliers, just making sure that there are not any sharp pieces. And then too, I like to double check to make sure that my loop is standing straight up and down, okay? All those little steps, you guys have heard me say it before, all those little steps are the things that are gonna make your piece of jewelry that much different than the guy in the booth next to you, right? So it's just those little tiny things that you wanna double check. All right, so Angie says, so the hole on that bead is smaller. Yes, Angie, I did not mention these, the black and white and red beads, these are large hole beads. The rest of the strand is not. The rest of the strand, all of the beads, well, I take that back. There's a large hole here. It's not nearly as large. If I move my finger, you can see. It's not nearly as large as, say, this guy, but the rest of the beads have got just a standard hole in them, okay? So yes, your head pin's gonna work. You don't have to do anything special. Everything's good to go. All right, so I did that, put this on the long strand, and now we're gonna do one more just on the short strand, just so that you guys can see the wrapped loop a second time. Okay, so I'm gonna take my head pin, I'm gonna thread on a bead. You are quite welcome, Angie. I'm gonna grab with my chain nose pliers, bend to 90 degrees, okay? Moving that out of the way. All right, grabbing with my round nose pliers now, we're going up and over. Okay. Gonna readjust my grip so that I have room, have to move those pliers out of the way so that I have the room to go ahead and wrap that wire all the way around. Okay, take it out, double check so you can see that the loop is nice and neat. Okay, and we're going to take this one and we're going to thread it on to the end of our short piece of chain. Now, this time we're going through a jump ring instead of one of those little loops. Okay, the loop on this guy is actually going to go on the top. Okay, so that's why we're down here working on this end. All right, now I'm going to take my pliers, again, switching hands. Okay, and I'm going to use a second set of pliers to make those wrapped loops. Okay, and again, I've got enough room for 4. All right, and now I'm going to trim that off and double check everything. All right, so that looks pretty good. Double check, make sure that guy is standing the way he needs to be. All right, so these are ready to go. Now we're gonna start stringing some of our beads, and I've actually had to take a picture of this because I wanted to be sure that I got the beads in the right order. So let me just a second pull that up. Okay, so we've got our bead stringing wire, and we've got our wire guardian and our crimp bead down at the end. We're ready to go. So this is the pattern that I'm going to use. You don't have to use the exact same pattern if you want to, but I wanted to try to incorporate all of the beads on the strand. So that's what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to thread on one of these glass pearls, and then one of these rhinestone spacers. Okay, thread that guy on, and then one of the black and white polka dotted beads. Love these, they are so pretty. Okay, and now we're going to thread on these large hole beads, but we're going to use 2 of these spacer beads, these bead caps, to bring that hole down a little bit. Okay, it's not going to bring it down completely, but it is going to help, because I would never want to just thread this straight onto the wire. Okay, obviously there is too much room here. Okay, and that's going to cause way too much friction on your wire. So you want to bring that down as much as you can. So we're going to take advantage of the bead caps. We're going to put one on either side. And not only are they helping to reduce the friction there, but they're also just beautiful. I'm sorry, you guys probably would like to see what I'm doing. All right, so thread that down. And now, let's see, sorry, my phone keeps closing. I just want to be sure that I get this right. And I missed a step. All right, back it up just a second, because we want to thread on one of these chains. We're going to thread on one of the short chains, and I forgot to add the jump ring. Okay, this is where the findings pack comes in really handy. Okay, your findings variety pack has got all of these different sizes of jump rings in it, okay, which is phenomenal. We're going to use the size 6 jump rings that are in here. There's some 6s, there are some 8s. I think there's some 5s. There's a lot of different ones in here. We're going to use the 6s, but we're definitely going to use one of the 8s here in just a second. So go ahead and open those up if you are working along, and open up one of these jump rings. You want to be sure that you add a jump ring to the end of your chain, because if you don't, it is not going to hang correctly threaded onto your wire. Okay, so you just want to open that up and close that back, making sure that you've got a nice good seal there. Okay, and we're going to do the other one as well, just so that it's ready to go. I got so excited to string those beads on, I completely skipped this step. Okay, now again, this one's got the jump rings at the end, so you want to find that middle jump ring to thread on, which you might need to look and double look just to be sure. There, we got that center jump ring. All right, we're going to close this up. Now we're ready to move on. Okay, my apologies. All right, so now we're going to thread on, like I said, one of the short chains with our bead on the bottom. And now we're ready to thread that lampwork bead on. All right. And we're going to thread on one of the long chains. And the cool thing about these beads is that the black beads, there are, a great thing about Jessie James beads in general is that there's a pair. Okay, so there's 2 of the large bead, there's 2 of this oval shaped bead, and 2 of the round beads. So if you didn't want to do this project, then you definitely got enough right there to make earrings with, for sure. All right, so we're going to thread on one of the shorter chains. Okay. And we're going to thread on another one of these black and white beads. And I messed that up, you guys. Just act like I didn't. Long chain, long chain. I'm telling you, having everybody at Bead Along watching has just made me so nervous, which is so silly because we're all friends. It's not like... All right, there we go. All right, short chain. We've got the short chain, long chain, short chain. My gosh. All right. And we are going to thread on one of these really pretty little 4mm red beads. Okay. And that's going to mark the center of our necklace. We're going to pop on one of these and one of these and another one of the bead caps. Okay. And lay that out for you guys to see. There we go. All right, we're going to thread on another one of the red beads. And then we're just going to repeat this pattern with another long chain. Okay, one of our black and white beads. And again, you can mix this up any way you want to, just whatever makes you happy for sure. Okay, and another short chain. And we're just about to the end of our strand, and then we're going to actually add some suede lace to this. I know you guys are probably tired of seeing me use the suede lace because it seems like every project I've done in the past few weeks here has had it, but I love it. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful, and it's really nice to have something lightweight up against your skin, I feel like, in the summertime and in the springtime. I don't know, I'm just kind of partial to having lightweight stringing material when the weather is hot. All right, we're almost done. We're going to thread on that last pearl and then, I'm sorry, the rhinestone spacer and then the pearl. And our strand is ready to go. Okay, so this is going to hang really, really cool on our necklace. Okay, and again, you could switch this up however you wanted to. You could actually put the black beads up here and make the lampwork beads your dangles, whatever you wanted to do. But I really wanted to try to show off as much of that strand, that bead strand, as possible. It's like an updated Victorian Gothic style JJB look. I agree. I completely agree. And I used to make necklaces that look like this all the time, and I really haven't done a design like this in a while. I don't know, these beads and that chain just really kind of spoke to me in that way. It was just the look that it was asking to be. All right, so I've thread on a #1 crimp bead, and now we're going to thread on our wire guardian again. Okay, just like we did at the beginning, we're going to loop back through that wire guardian and down through that #1 crimp bead. And you can see I've got more bead string wire than I needed. I always do. I had more than I told you that you needed. You're only going to need a 10-inch piece. I had more of like a 15-inch piece, maybe even more than that. Okay, so definitely do as I say, not as I do if you're trying to save your wire. All right, you just want to pull everything down. You don't want to snug this up too much because if you don't leave yourself a little bit of wiggle room, nothing is going to hang right. Okay, so you want to be sure that everything's down, looks pretty good, but you've still got a good little bit of movement there, okay? If you pull too tight, you're going to run into some trouble. All right, so now we're going to use our fingers here to hold to make sure right here at the end that bead string wire always wants to crisscross inside that crimp bead. So it does take, you gotta be quick, or you gotta have a third hand to kind of hold everything in place as you bring in your crimper tool. All right, we're going to put that in the back notch and give it a little squeeze, and then we're going to move it to the front notch and give it another little squeeze. Now this is ready to go. We're going to go ahead, trim this off, And at this point, if you wanted to, you could be pretty much done. You could add chain. If you had some more of this chain, it would look really, really pretty. You could hang this on either end if you wanted to. You don't have to use the leather like we're going to, but we are. We're going to add some of this suede lace and our trusty quick links, which have also been featured in a lot of my projects lately, but that's because quick links are pretty much amazing. Who does not agree? Quick links are awesome. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of black suede lace, and this is faux suede lace, and you can get this on the Jessie James website. She's got it in the black as well as the brown. We've got about a 17-inch strand, and you can see we're going to fold it over and create a lark's head knot onto our quick link. So I've already got one done just to save time. And this is the one we're going to work through, okay? And then we're going to connect everything together. So I've taken my 17-inch piece and I've folded it in half. And now I'm just going to loop this through the quick link like so, and I'm going to pull the ends through the loop. Just so you can see what I got going on here, okay? Just pulling that through. All right, and I'm going to tighten that down. I want that to be really, really tight, okay? And like my Fred Flintstone from last time, if you want to add a dab of glue, you totally can. Especially if you're going to sell this necklace, I would definitely take a little bit of hypo cement and probably make a dab of glue right there on the back, okay? Just to make sure that it doesn't come undone. All right, now we're going to come down to the other end, and we're going to just tie an overhanded knot here, but we're going to tie a jump ring into this. So we're going to go ahead and start that knot and then put the jump ring in. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, we're going to hold this and just loop it over. Okay, and now we want our 8mm jump ring to go right here. Okay, and actually I probably should have, I'm sorry, I should have thread that on first, but I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. All right, so again, do as I say, not as I do. Thread that jump ring on before you start tying that knot. All right. So when you pull, your jump ring is attached. And of course, you can attach your jump ring later. You want to tie your knot first and then open up your jump ring and slide it on. You absolutely can. Joan Dice, I couldn't get over that add a dab of glue after, you know, I have laughed, I don't know, as many times as I've used glue since that video, I have laughed every single time. I cannot believe I said that. I'm like the king of dad jokes. It's so bad. Really, really bad. My sense of humor is so lame. My kids will tell you it's ridiculous. All right, so I put that jump ring in there and I've pulled that tight. Mine is in the wrong place, so I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. I want to make sure that it is in the same place as the other one. Move this out of the way so you guys can see better. Okay, so I'm just going to loosen this knot just a little bit and then pull down. The thing about the suede, you want to be sure that once you get everything attached, you want to give this a nice tug because it does have a little bit of give to it. You want to be sure that before you commit to the length of anything, you give it a nice pull, okay, to pull all of that slack out. And again, I want to be sure that it's in the same spot as the other. That's pretty close. All right, so you can see with this one that was already done, I went ahead and added my jump ring, my lobster clasp to my jump ring. Okay, so that's already ready to go. This one has the jump ring that we're going to connect to. Now we're just ready to put everything together. So we've got two quick links on one end, and we've got our beaded section. We're just going to attach this with two 6mm jump rings that were from our little findings pack. And we're also going to add this chain as well, so that this is going to be a 2-strand design. Okay, we're going to just open up our jump ring, and I'm using 2 pairs of pliers to do that. Okay, we're going to thread it onto the quick link. Then we're going to thread on the wire guardian. Okay, and now we're going to thread on one end of our chain. And that's all before we close that jump ring back. Okay, you don't want to open and close that jump ring more than you have to. So try to get everything on in one go. All right, we're going to close that back. Now we're just going to do the exact same thing to the other side, and we're basically finished. Okay. Take our jump ring. And again, I'm using 6mm jump rings for this that were in that Findings variety pack, but there's a lot of different sizes in that pack, so you could use whatever you wanted to here. I like to try to balance things out with these quick links because they're so large and can be really, can kind of take over the design. So I like my hardware to kind of have a little bit of, I tell you what, let's thread this on first. So this chain lays over the top. I like for my Findings to kind of have the same measurement. Not quite as big as an 8mm, but a 6mm. I don't know, I just kind of feel like it evens everything out a bit. Don't want to use 4mm here, just feel like that would just be too small. All right, so you've got a really cool necklace. Now, this is different from the other designs I've shown you guys. I've done some really kind of casual designs in the past, and this is more of a, I wish I could zoom out and show this to you guys so that you could get a bigger picture of it. This is kind of a fancier design than what I have been giving you guys. I hope that you like the change of pace that we've got going on here. I don't know, I was just kind of feeling it with this necklace. Let me pull this up where you can see, or over, whichever, so you guys can see a little bit better of how that chain is going to hang. Just really cool design, something different. You definitely could take this and go a million different ways with it. So I hope that I have inspired you and given you just a kind of a fun, different example of how to use those really awesome beads. All right, let's see. I'm gonna switch things around here. Oh, there's my arm. Hello. All right, yay, there I am. Hi, guys. All right, now I'll hold it up so you can see it. Okay. And of course, the pictures online are pretty good to definitely get a better, you don't have my face behind it, obviously. All right, so that's it for me, you guys. Just wanted to say one more time before we go that everything, pretty much everything, is available on the Jessie James website. The Findings variety packs, she's got these in a bunch of different colors. Really, really handy to have and just throw in your bag. The quick links, she definitely has those, and obviously she's got the amazing beads, but the suede, the chain, all of it is on the Jessie James website, so that's your one-stop shop for all of the things in this design. Oh, and I just want to say hi to all my friends at Beadalon. I love you guys. You made me super nervous. I don't know why, you just did. Caught me off guard. I did not know that you guys were having a little watch party there, so I apologize if I was a little flustered with this design, just because it made me nervous that you guys are out there watching. But I love you guys, and I will see you guys same time, same place next week. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.